14 long years, but Arsenal are now back into the quarterfinals of the Champions League. The comeback has been completed as we defeated FC Porto on penalties, people. They thought we was losing. I see a lot of other content creators doing hate-alongs. You might get your moment, but for now, Arsenal are flying high in the league and the Champions League. Let's get into it and go through exactly what happened against Porto.
Moments later.
The Porto pack comes way too loud. Big up Trossard and Martin Wondergaard, the class region. The first time in the game, I feel we broke them down, excluding Odegaard's disallowed goal, which was incorrect. We made them pay for it, man. Big up Trossard. Be honest, who was saying Trossard come off at halftime? I see a lot of you in my watch along saying such, but that's why he's starting. Big up David Raya, because when it goes to penalties, you need your keeper to stand up to be counted. Shout out to, Kai Havertz, Saka and Odegaard, and if I'm forgetting anyone who took pens as well, you need big bollocks to do that. But big up David Raya, and he needs a moment like that. I think everyone can see Ramsdale's done, but I think it's nice when a keeper gets a bit of glory so people can have that bit more confidence in the man. And he obviously was awarded man of the match, player of the match, they call it now, and rightly so, people. Big up Martin Odegaard, I cannot lie. It's fantastic for us Arsenal fans. Whether we go on to win the champs or go out in the next round is another thing. But it's moments like this that you just enjoy as a football fan. Take a picture, Martin Odegaard. Celebration police can't stop us now. We're doing different things. Big up David Raya, because he said he should have saved 3 penalties, people. His mentality is out of this world. Now, to be fair, it was a low-key affair. First half, we only had 2 shots on target. Come the 90th minute, we only had 4 shots on target. So there is obviously more we could do. But when you look at the field tilts, the expected goals, and all the statistics that the footballing nerds like, and just with our eyes, everybody could see that Arsenal were and deserved to get something from the game. We all know Porto were set up to stifle us. They didn't come to play football, but yeah, and we firmly were very brave. We knew what to expect from Porto. We know they're a stubborn unit, they're a defensive unit. They were quite narrow in general. If we moved their back 3-4, you guys, back 4, sorry, in their midfield, they were quite narrow. They were very narrow. They were holding their shape and they were ridiculously narrow, people. And for me, anyways, of course, this is not to scale. It felt like it was a game for our players in the pockets, whether that's Mr. Kai Havertz, Mr. Wondergaard, who you saw popping up on occasion. Of course, Saka's joy really when he came inside. Obviously, you had Declan Rice and Jorginho. I did think Trossard was holding his width, and as I've previously said or about to say, I think he did a good job becoming a left back out of possession. Benjamin White had to invert, and for a large period of the game, you did see our 2 centre halves in Gabriel and Saliba, and if we just exaggerate, Kirill in that sort of shape, people. It was a lot of side to side, was knocking it frontwards and backwards. Of course, occasionally Raya was going forward. There was a period in the first half, actually, I thought Raya had to make the more saves, but it looked like it was a day for the players in the pockets, the Odegaards, the Havertz dropping inside, and somebody maybe making that run forward. So I do think Porto held their shape. If I'm brutally honest, they held their shape quite well. When you look at the amount of time the ball spent in play, when you look at the shots we had for a team that's one of the most potent sides this season in Europe, in many ways it did work. Unfortunately for them, it's the Champions League, and that doesn't really quite happen. But in terms of us playing silky play and asking questions in that regards, they held their shape for a large part of the game, really, or the majority of the game. You only felt their joy would come against the run of possession, people, against the run of play, better yet, apologies, when we're kind of setting up to attack and whatnot. Obviously Porto were rigid at times. Their strikers obviously out there. Benjamin White had his little battle going on, as did Kirill, but when Kirill was, asked to defend, I think we were going with like a back 3-4 or a 5, depending on how you look at it with White. And as I said, Trossard was tucking in, and that was their only quote unquote joy. They're just hitting it wide. Their midfield really wasn't interested in playing football, if I'm completely honest with you, because you had you had Odegaard, Jorginho, Declan Rice. Obviously Kai Havertz will drop into midfield and kind of make it a 2 at times. Obviously Saka off the ball would make it narrow. If we move Trossard, again, it's not to scale, but it's almost a sort of 4-4-2, as you know what we come with, people. I did think their back 4 showed a lot of bravery in possession, and I think Costa on the ball did quite well. There was even times he was basically at the halfway line, but generally it didn't work because we found a way to win, didn't we, people? from their goalkeeper. There was rare occasions where I thought, yeah, that's where we get our joy. Ironically, I did think in the game we was more than likely going to get our goal from the right hand side of the pitch. Such is life, it came from the left with Odegaard and Trossard, which we'll get onto. Typically, as we already know, and as I've said, they were just going long. They were knocking it into the channels. They were, in my opinion, trying to knock it against Benjamin White. I don't think it's because they feel Benjamin White was necessarily a weak spot. I think it's just because they've got Galando, who missed the penalty but scored the winner in the first leg against them. Completely off topic, but I did think one thing that we did a good job in, if we look at Kirill, sorry, people, and assume he's there, one thing I did like, when they did try to go long and hit their wide men, for example, I think Trossard did a great job tucking in and almost making it a 5 at the back. And I think that will go under the radar and go over a lot of people's heads. But back to their goalie, it was long ball central. They were just knocking it about. They were trying to play out from the back on occasion. But I did think the goal could have come from the right hand side, because for a large part of that first half, it felt when they did play short, whether it was to, sorry, that's the keeper, whether it was to Wendell or Otavio, there was occasions we was picking their pocket or they were giving the ball away cheaply. As you know, Kai Havertz and Martin Odegaard, they lead the press. Obviously, Saka's there. And I think we was nicking the ball back very quickly. And you saw a lot of corners with that, or they were putting it out of play. I don't blame Porto for the fouls, for the amount of times the ball was in play. 74 fouls across 2 legs. We had just one shot in extra time, people, and the ball was only in play for 66 minutes of the 132 we played. Their manager had something to say about Mikel Arteta being disrespectful, people. Porto can't stop crying. You lot were talking a lot of smoke before the game. And as I've said here, bro, you lot can see the tweet. I'm not even going to reply. I don't want this to get demonetized. There's many twists and turns. In the quarterfinals of European competition, we don't have the best of records, people. And we have to find a way to break down European stubborn units. It is the first time since 09-010 we'll compete in the last 8. Hopefully we get into the last 4. Arteta obviously has won 41 of the 43 sides he's played. This is only the second time we've gone to extra time since 08-09, people. So we're throwing it back. Pause. Arsenal have progressed to the quarterfinals of the Champions League for the first time since 09-010. And big up Leandro Trossard for joining Saka and Alexis with some great statistics. May the good times continue and hopefully we go all the way. Boy, what can I say? We're through to the quarterfinals. There's many twists and turns, bumps and bruises along the way where the Champions League is concerned. We cannot count our chickens before they hatch, people. Our manager and these players, for the majority, they haven't been in the Champions League for a while, / haven't played at this football club in the Champions League, haven't played in the Champions League in its entirety. So we enjoyed today. We enjoyed last night, of course, and then we keep moving forward. It's lovely to obviously be doing what we're doing in the Premier League. And I don't look at the league table, folks, but allegedly we're top. We've come back from behind against Porto. I want to hear their manager's post-game comments, really. I would be angry with Mikel Arteta as well if he dished your family and your son was there and he didn't back the beef. It's crazy. Shout out to the referee, because he's man of the match where Porto's concerned. It's almost like the referees don't review the games, and then try and do better next time, And again, banter aside, commiserations to Porto, because again, I know we won and we needed extra time and stuff, but I did like their gameplay. They, to a degree, they stifled us. They limited our attacking play. The ball was out of possession. They limited our shots, and we didn't cut them open when we should have. Now, I don't believe Kai Havertz made a foul on the goalie or whoever in what was Odegaard's goal that's been ruled out, but fair enough, people. One thing I've liked is, regardless of refereeing decision in all comps this season, we're just getting through and dealing with the business. And I did like how I like the passion from Saliba in the celebrations. I love, obviously, Declan Rice handbags. To be honest with you, I think Saliba was a bit nervous. I think Kirill had a great game. Be honest, who was saying Trossard come off at halftime? Check my watch along. I told you, look, keep the faith. But, again, the Champions League, of course, it's about performance and tactics and all of that stuff. But it's just about getting the job done. And last night was so beautiful, so ugly, sorry. It was absolutely beautiful. So we enjoyed today and we keep working hard. And, the dream is free, but the hustle is sold separately. I think I speak for every Arsenal fan when I say, we want to get to the final and win it. This football club is too gigantic of a football club to not have a stronger European pedigree. So we just need to keep going. Big up David Raya as well. I think he saved the most penalties in the Champions League shootout of all keepers in Arsenal's history. So, yeah, shout out to our goalie because we needed that. Shout out to Kai Havertz, because although he has no, there's no highlights from Kai Havertz apart from what you saw earlier pushing the manager, but I thought he was down for the trenches. Our Capitano, the class region, Martin Wondergaard was amazing. Man to a man, we did what needed to be done. Shout out to Kai Havertz, Odegaard and Saka for stepping up for the Pens. It was a quiet night for Saka, but it is what it is. The star boy will get back to it. So yeah, great day for the players. Great day for Mikel Arteta. We're through to the next round. Let's keep it going. And I don't want to get too excited, but I think I enjoyed that game the most of any game this season. I'm lying a bit because I think it's up there, Porto in the second leg is up there for me with Liverpool. Obviously, Manchester City as well, defeating them. The dramatics against Manchester United at the Emirates. The Emirates ain't safe. We're stealing change, Porto, Liverpool, City, United, come get your change back, man. Mikel Arteta is developing something special. But yeah, on another day, you want to see us cut them open and put their keeper under more sustained pressure, not just in the game at the Emirates, but across the two legs. Obviously, you don't want to have to play that extra half an hour. Thank the Lord we ain't got a game on the weekend in that regard. And obviously you don't want it to go to penalty shootouts. Again, the last time we played the Portuguese side, at the Emirates in the second leg of a European competition, it didn't end well. But fortunately, that was last season. This is new season's business. So yeah, we did what needed to be done. The good times keep going, and hopefully every game or every moment like this, it provides that spark, within our players to be hungry to achieve bigger and better. So yeah, I'm a happy man. Man of the match, I would give it personally to David Raya. Penalty shootout, your keeper's needed. He did his thing. And then if it's not him, I would say Martin Odegaard. But I don't really care for man of the match, men of the match. You need all the 11 to stand up to be counted. And that's what them men did, really. And one thing I have liked this season, the talk that these guys give before the games is correlated in the performances, whether we win, lose or draw. That hasn't always been the case of Arsenal during the Emirates era. So that's all I've got to say. Let me know your thoughts on the game, individual performances, who you want in the next round of the Champions League, etc., etc. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit the like button. If you're on TikTok and Instagram, make sure you're following on all the platforms. Peace.